There are few bigger idiots on television than Fox's own Jesse Watters. Jesse Watters is a special type of embarrassment where he kind of does it with this wink and a nod, but recently it hasn't been that. There was no wink and nod when he was calling for all-out war in the wake of the Charlie Kirk shooting, immediately blaming the left, falsely by the way, and now he's doing it again, making a false accusation instantly proved wrong about Donald Trump's escalator incident today. Now he's declaring war. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the insane moment that Jesse had on air that the FCC should check on at this point, I want to start with the big important news of the day that happened at the UN General Assembly, and that is an announcement from President Zelensky.
President Trump has indicated that any sort of peace deal, if it comes, with Ukraine and Russia, would end up with Ukraine losing some territory to Russia. Have you accepted that reality, or what concessions do you think, if you got to a negotiating table, you're willing to make?
First of all, it's important that today we had good conversation with President Trump, and I think he understands for today that we can't just swap territories. It's not fair. It's not real.
So you think his position has changed?
Yes, I think so. And God bless it. I really count on this, on continuation of his attitude to the territorial question and the question of our sovereignty at the end of the days. And I think that it's not about territories, it's about the position of Putin. He will continue. If we will give them more that he really wants, he will continue. So the question how to stop the war is just to stop Putin's ambitions, to change his position to this war.
Donald Trump has always tried to pretend that he was the big, strong, macho, tough guy. It's never been the case. We know this. But today especially, not him saying and doing what he should have been doing all along, which is standing by our ally, but the very obvious reason why Donald Trump is 180'd on his position as it relates to the war in Ukraine is because Putin hurt his feelings. Like, Donald Trump is upset that his favorite dictator isn't calling back. Like, he's like, Putin ghosted me, and so yes, I guess now I have to support NATO. Now I have to support our allies. And I really don't know what's more embarrassing than that. Like, Donald Trump and his entire administration, they think so little of themselves. They are so petty, they are so insecure, it is all their personal grievance, and never was that made more clear than Carolyn Levitt demanding an investigation into an escalator stopping today, which is why Jesse freaked out. But there was an important detail that we have to get into about this stoppage before we see why what he said was so idiotic. But let's check out this hilarious clip first, and then we'll see.
Any deals with Zelensky and Putin? Mr. President, any deals with Zelensky and Putin?
To make Russia NATO airspace.
Mr. President.
You still believe in the UN? What's your message to countries recognizing Palestine?
President Trump, why did you cancel the meeting with Chuck Schumer?
Just for a second in the beginning. Let's see if he looks back in a second.
But in the wake of Escalator Gate, insiders spill embarrassing truth about Trump's UN pratfalls. According to someone familiar with the situation, someone in the president's own entourage accidentally tipped the emergency stop. They were able to quickly reset it and move on, but the president's UN challenges didn't stop there. So to be crystal clear, this was not the escalator deep state going after Donald Trump, trying to impede his ability to walk. And by the way, Carolyn Levitt saying, "You could have endangered President Trump. Oh my God. He can't walk 5 steps." Are you saying he's that much of a fat ass? Like, that he's that, and I'm sorry for the language, like, he's in that bad a shape that he can't get up 5 steps without it being a national catastrophe? Well, clearly that's what Jesse Watters thinks, because the man is now declaring war because of
what's going on with the escalator. What do you think?
Yeah, they sabotaged him.
Yeah.
And they could have hurt the first lady.
Yeah.
Trump would have fallen and he would have gotten back up. But, you know,
they would have blamed it on his rhetoric.
And then they sabotaged the teleprompter.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an insurrection. And what we need to do is either leave the UN or we need to bomb it. It is in New York, though, right?
Yeah,
there could be some fallout there.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe gas it?
No.
Let's not do that.
Don't gas it. Okay. But we need to destroy it. Maybe just, can we demolish the
We
building?
could turn it
Have
into-
everybody leave and then we'll demolish the building?
We could turn it into affordable housing.
Okay.
That's what you do, affordable housing.
No, I don't like that. I like nice sky rises, Dana, the expensive condominiums. You
trying to
see
win an
the
election
East
here.
River from there. No, this is absolutely unacceptable, and I hope they get to the bottom of it, and I hope they really injure emotionally the people that did it.
Now, I don't know if Jesse is joking or not, and apparently that doesn't matter anymore, because this is clearly more dangerous remarks than Jimmy Kimmel, right? Shouldn't the FCC look into Jesse Waters? I think we need to get Bob Iger on the phone. Well, what do you think? I know you don't own Fox, but maybe make a call to Rupert and say that we have a dangerous host making scary calls for violence at the UN. Jesse Waters declares war on all world leaders. This is idiotic. This is idiotic. This is what Fox is focusing on. Are you fucking serious right now? This bullshit, escalator date, Donald Trump can't walk 8 steps without it being a catastrophe. Well, let's call Woodward and Bernstein. Let's get to the bottom of this thing. It is embarrassing. It was his own team, and you are freaking out? This guy is such a joke. He really is. How is this a primetime anchor, by the way? Jesse, come on, brother, what are we doing? And do you know what's not manly, Jesse, by the way, because you want to talk about this all the time? Standing on the escalator. I'm a walk up the escalator kind of guy. I'll always, when I'm at the airport, though, the people mover thing, I always take it. It's fun. You go 20 miles an hour. I don't think I could ever run that fast. Not an Olympian, but I enjoy that. I don't need to do fake masculinity with Jesse Waters. I don't know. All that we need to say is this guy is an idiot. And he just shows how weak Trump is. But it's not just Jesse. It's one of Donald Trump's many nemesis. Nemesis? It's a nemesis of Donald Trump, who's really making him pay. Today, that is Illinois Governor Jacob Pritzker.
Well, let's start with the idea that apparently Chicago is living rent-free in the president's head. He seems to mention Chicago at every turn. The reality is that Chicago isn't even in the top 25 cities in terms of violent crime rates. So he's attacking Chicago because he doesn't like that people in Chicago don't vote for Donald Trump. They don't support Donald Trump. He doesn't like the governor, me, because I don't support Donald Trump, and I think he's wrong for the United States.
And he talks about coming into Chicago.
Yeah, as you know, he's been threatening to bring troops into American cities and into Chicago. The reality is we honestly are fighting crime on the ground with civilian law enforcement. That's how it needs to get done. And I've asked the president for help. FBI, ATF, DEA. We want to fight drugs and gangs and guns on the streets of Chicago. And we've done a good job of it over the last 4 years. We've cut the homicide rate in half. All of the violent crime rates for the city of Chicago have gone down by double digits. But we want more help. He's not offering that. Instead, he's offering troops who are not trained to do law enforcement. They don't know how to do arrests. They're really not appropriate for an American city. And frankly, this is part of a broader effort on his part to impose his authoritarian rule on big cities across the United States.
And that's what you call it, authoritarian rule?
It is.
How would you describe it as authoritarian rule?
Well, one after another. Look at everything that he's been about as president. Just recently, trying to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air by having his FCC chair threaten stations with taking away their licenses. Donald Trump has very often talked about bringing troops not just into cities, but anywhere where he sees an opponent that he thinks he should come after. Much of his rhetoric, as we've seen in his speeches, even last night during the Charlie Kirk Memorial, he talked about the fact that although Charlie Kirk didn't hate his opponents, that Donald Trump does, and that he harbors ill will toward them continually. This is a person who thinks that his personal will should be imposed upon the United States. That's not how it works. He wants his Justice Department to go after his opponents. We've seen that over and over again. And indeed, I believe yesterday we saw news that he is planning to do that, accidentally publishing what would have been a private communication with Pam Bondi.
There's been some suggestions that you might be considering a run for president in 2028. Is that true?
I always appreciate that people have mentioned this and have encouraged me to do something like that. But to be honest, I'm running for re-election as governor of Illinois. I'm focused on what's best for Illinois. And whatever decisions I make in the future will always have that in mind.
What do you think it would take to run against Donald Trump? When you think about it, you think about someone else doing it that you know, maybe another governor or you, what will be all the different considerations you would make in that decision?
Well, I would actually focus you on the bench that exists for Democrats.
What's the bench?
Boy, we've got a whole lot of really great people, governors and senators, who could be president of the United States and certainly will consider running. And I think the characteristics that are required are you got to have somebody who understands what it's going to take to rebuild this country after Donald Trump has torn down so many of the institutions that have been so important to democracy over all these years. You've got to have somebody who understands how to actually create affordability for working people, who's done it either as a legislator or as a governor, and who demonstrates the empathy that I think is so important to have if you're going to serve in very high office. I think thinking about what's good for the most vulnerable people in our country and how we're going to lift them up, how we're going to make the lives easier of working families across the United States. Those are the things that I think Democrats believe in, the things that Democrats have at their core, and we've got so many really good Democrats to choose from.
Donald Trump is the smallest man in America. He is weak. He is insecure. It is sad to watch him stumble and struggle to pronounce or to speak. This is not a leader. This is a child who is angry and wants to enact revenge. That's what his presidency has been about. He told you it was about prices. It's actually about payback. And do you know who that doesn't help? Either of us. But we need leaders now more than ever willing to stand up, willing to be strong, willing to stare down this administration and fight back. I'm glad Pritzker is doing that. We need everyone to do so. We're going to be on this show, and if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to support our show in another way, as always, now you can become a subscriber, either free or paid to my Substack. It'll be linked below and right here. And of course, keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. Watch Jimmy Kimmel tonight. And until next time, I'll see you soon.